DeepSeek is currently the most downloaded app in the US, UK, Australia, and many other countries on Apple's App Store. As ChatGPT has helped hundreds of thousands of programmers with their code and has made it easier for newcomers to learn, it only seems right to see how reliable DeepSeek is for coding, as it might even become the go-to option over ChatGPT. In case you've been off grid for a week, let me fill you in on what DeepSeek is and why it's all over the news. DeepSeek started as a side project by a Chinese hedge fund, Highflyer, which originally used AI for stock trading. It later spun off into an independent AI lab in the summer of 2023. Unlike OpenAI and Google, which spend billions, DeepSeek managed to train its model for under $6 million while still being competitive with ChatGPT and Gemini in performance. However, it faced controversies over alleged ChatGPT data usage and cybersecurity threats. But OpenAI is no angel either. They've been dealing with legal challenges over alleged data usage without permission, so everyone's doing it, I guess. To explore whether DeepSeek is reliable for coding, we need to first explore how it works and how to get it to work for you. Like other chatbots, DeepSeek runs off a prompt, so the outcome really depends on what you put in. Don't get me wrong, if you're an awful typer and your words are barely recognizable, it does a good job at understanding what you meant, but if what you meant isn't detailed enough, well, the answer is going to reflect that. If you're just starting off your coding journey, keeping prompts simple is the best way to learn. Let's say you're asking what higher order functions are in JavaScript, and the server isn't overloaded and you actually get a response. You can read the answer, pick out parts you don't understand, and keep asking follow-up questions. Maybe it will even direct you to my video explaining higher order functions and callback functions. This is a great way to learn, especially alongside documentation, because as DeepSeek says itself, it's important to use its guidance as a starting point and always verify information, especially for crucial and complex tasks. When it comes to writing code, our verification will come from it working or it throwing an error. The most common ways to use DeepSeek for coding are checking for syntax errors, finding out what methods to use, finding out what parameters a method or function takes, and getting it to do the entire code for you. With syntax errors, you can just enter the code into DeepSeek and it will fix the code whether you asked it to or not. But this comes with its own obstacles. If you've misspelt a variable called hamster across multiple files and you only send DeepSeek one of them, it will correct the spelling in that file while the others remain unchanged. You might spend ages trying to figure out why your code still isn't working. Maybe you wanted to spell it that way. Well, you need to specify that because it will just change it. So even with the simplest tasks, explaining what you meant makes a big difference. And always read what it changed after rather than just pasting it back into your code and just assuming it was a missing bracket. For checking what parameters a method or function accepts, you obviously need to tell it what you're using, like if you're using map or reduce, and you should get your answer. And when you're deep into a project and you're trying to figure out what method to use, you need to be more detailed to get the results you want. Let's say you ask DeepSeek, I need to get part of and away from my project. What's the best way to do this? Without more detail, it may suggest slice, it may suggest splice, but these are two very different things. Slice copies the array without changing the original, whereas splice alters the original array by altering or removing elements. If you just needed a copy but didn't specify that, DeepSeek might suggest splice, but that's not what you need. A better prompt would be, for my project, I need to extract part of an array, but keep the original unchanged. What's the best method? This is an example of why you need to keep clear context in your prompt. Explain what you're aiming to achieve and any restrictions that you have in your project, and then it can tailor the answer to you. At the end of the day, DeepSeek is just another chatbot relaying information to you from the internet. Its effectiveness depends on a few things: the detail you put in its prompts, you testing the code that it gives to you, and also doing your own research along the answers it generates for you. When used wisely, DeepSeek can be a great coding assistant. My advice would be to remember that it's just one tool of many. Variety is the spice of life, and you never know what you might find when you check out the other resources. Now we've had a deep seek into DeepSeek. That kind of sounded better in my head. My work here is done. If you haven't already, consider subscribing. It really helps out my small channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.